The 2021 Big East Field Hockey Championships from the Proving Grounds, presented by Jeep. Today's final, the championship match, a rematch of last year. Old Dominion and Uconn today on the Big East Digital Network, presented by Sophie. Allie Campbell, Nick Montagna, our great crew, Ashley Lyotis in a little bit. And Allie, a great matchup today as Uconn took care of Temple the other day while Old Dominion beat Liberty.
Yeah, two structured sides here today, and I'm looking forward to see how they penetrate each other's sides for good attacking opportunities.
We have two of the best players in the entire country. Marlon De Bruyne has been fantastic. The co-Big East Freshman of the Year had 2 goals in the win over Liberty.
And she's just calm, composed on the ball, makes sure she does her job, and she does it real well.
She's had a fantastic season with 15 goals, the top rookie scorer in the nation. Old Dominion lost a tough one in the final last year to Uconn, who took care of Temple 4-0 in semifinal number 1 on Thursday. 4 goals. It was 2 goals for Sophie Hamilton, the Big East Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to see how ODU can keep a grip on her. She's dynamic, she's quick, and she's super silky on the ball. She's able to pass it, she's able to dribble, she's able to do it all.
Sophie Hamilton leads the country in points per game as we have a fantastic matchup. Old Dominion and Uconn for an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. Coming up next on the Big East Digital Network, presented by Sophie.
If your money is working toward the same goals, why keep it in different places? SoFi is a one-stop shop for your finances, designed to work better together. Spend with SoFi and get cashback rewards that automatically go toward your goals, like investing in stocks, ETFs, and crypto. That's better together. Or pay down your SoFi debt sooner. That's better together. And that's how SoFi is helping millions get their money right.
Welcome back to the Big East Field Hockey Championships presented by Jeep. What a difference 48 hours can make here at the Proving Grounds. Sunny and 65 degrees today as Uconn takes on Old Dominion in the finals with a automatic bid to the NCAA tournament on the line. Uconn looking for its 9th straight title, and ODU looking to not repeat history. The only 2 times they played in the finals back in 2013 and 2019, they lost to Uconn. Both head coaches telling me yesterday the exact same thing. What they need to do to win is focus on us. It all comes down to this after a wild season, severely impacted by COVID-19. Let's see how this one turns out. Guys.
Yeah, today's starting lineup. First, we'll look at Andrew Griffiths in his 8th year, his fantastic lineup, Allie, and it's just loaded with terrific players. Marley McLennan, experienced defender, and obviously we have good players all over the whole field.
Yeah, and they've got depth through the line, so looking forward to see how they stay together today.
Yeah, they put up a great defensive effort, really shutting down that high-powered Liberty attack that was leading the country in goals scored, and Uconn has countless All-Americans, it seems, every year, Allie.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a legendary program. They're super attacking, super structured, and it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top today.
No changes as we have the same starting lineups. And for Old Dominion, their goalie is a good one, the redshirt junior out of Calgary, Cam McGillivray.
Yeah, she's super balanced. She's able to use any part of her body to save the ball, and that's ultimately what you want for a goalkeeper when you have her behind you.
9 career shutouts, making her 35th career start. And Cheyenne Sprecher, a terrific shot stopper out of Palmyra, PA, with 7 clean sheets and 9 total shutouts for Uconn, which leads the country.
And a true leader out of the goal cage, one of the captains of Uconn, and she just uses her voice, she makes the saves and gets the job done.
All Big East second team selection for Cheyenne Sprecher. Last year won Big East Defensive Player of the Year. So the weather is much nicer. It's still a tad windy, but just gorgeous in the mid-60s, as Ashley was talking about. And these teams meeting again in the final for the 2nd straight year. As last year it was Uconn advancing once again to the NCAA tournament with a win over the Monarchs, and we're underway. You're looking for a fast start from Old Dominion, perhaps. Nobody wants to fall behind Uconn's dominant program, right, Allie?
Right, and I'm looking for a front-footed attack, but staying structured on the counter-defensive pressing situations. They don't want to give up super direct lines. They don't want to give up big pockets of space, especially to Sophie Hamilton. So it'll be exciting how they're able to press and how they're able to counterattack and get in behind like they did against Liberty 2 days ago.
Stefan Smith and Mallory Fedorov are the officials. Jamal Grosvenor and then Jen Anton will handle the replay, which we had on Thursday as well in the 2 semifinals, as Liberty shut down by Old Dominion. As not quite an upset. That matchup has gone back and forth through the years, while Uconn took care of business, beating Temple. And on to the biggest final, the Huskies are for the 19th straight time. That's just incredible, Allie, that they've been to the Big East Championship game for nearly 2 decades straight.
Yeah, and it's a testament to their coaching staff and how they're able to prepare the team day in and day out, year after year, and it's just really, it's really great.
Uconn, number 7 in the land, a 10-1 mark on the season. They've won 6 straight games. They've outscored their opponents 36-0. Allie, in those games, as an early chance for Uconn into the circle with Erica Solomon, who tips it in, and the Huskies off to a flying start, up 1-0 on a cracker of a goal there, and early fireworks for the dominant Uconn program as always.
And Uconn was just super patient out of the back. Old Dominion really not pressing, giving a 3/4 length press, so giving them space and time to have to build the ball and get impatient. But the minute that ODU stepped, they delivered a nice, strong through ball off of a mistrap, made Lemon 8 out of lemons, and we've got a 1-0 lead here for Uconn early.
A nice tip in there by Erica Solomon, the sophomore out of New Jersey. Her 5th goal of the season, the sophomore with a delicate touch. And after last year's title game, which was 0-0 at halftime, the only 2 goals were by Svea Boker, and they happened 45 seconds apart. In the second half, very quick right out of the gate, it's Uconn this time scoring early in the first quarter instead of in the third quarter. So Old Dominion finds themselves down. The Monarchs with a 9-4 record. They've won 4 straight. This is their 5th straight game at their proving grounds here at Villanova. They've come up here to the Philly area to play a couple of weekends in a row, make it 3 straight weekends, Allie. They've won 4 straight right here on this field, so they must be liking the vibe here in the Philly area.
I mean, it's a beautiful field, a beautiful surface to be able to play on each of those 4 times, so I'm sure they've definitely gotten used to it. Used to the field's tendencies, and they're able to utilize that to their advantage.
The excellent surface here in Conshohocken outside of Villanova's campus, Villanova Field Hockey Field, opened up in 2016. You practiced on here with Team USA, Allie. Talk about what it's like playing on this surface.
Yeah, it's just a really nice, I know it's obvious, but a flat, steady surface, and there's no really bumps or rivets, so it allows for the ball to stay on the ground and allows you to distribute the ball well, and it's also a good pace. It's not too slow, not too fast, and it allows you to build the ball, but it also allows you to attack with speed too.
That warm bowl of porridge, just right. As it's a smooth roll here for Sophie Hamilton, number 14. She's becoming quite simply the best player in the country, Allie, outside of Erin Matson in North Carolina, and she's right there with her, I think.
Yeah, and like I said, she's on the ball. She's a threat attacking-wise. She's got the hand speed, the skills to get in behind defenders early, but she's also got the distribution skills and the vision. She's able to get the ball. She's able to give it to her teammates and do the work off the ball as well. So she's a really influential all-around player for the Huskies.
Erin Matson scored again yesterday a couple of times. North Carolina won the automatic qualifier over Wake Forest. Even though there was an ACC tournament in the fall, which North Carolina won, they gave the ACC an auto bid game yesterday. Had Wake Forest won that, Allie, it would have taken an at-large bid away from somebody else, as there are only 3 extra spots outside of the automatic qualifiers.
Yeah, it would have, but in these uncertain times, you know, you just got to show up and be ready to compete day in and day out, and unfortunate for Wake Forest, they gave up a really good fight. It was a really close and gritty game, and congratulations to UNC for coming out on top.
They just don't seem to lose. They've never lost at Karen Shelton Stadium that will host championship weekend. The first and second rounds will be at North Carolina and at Penn State the first weekend. And then to the final 4 teams. Which team can get there? UConn's been there a whole bunch. 15 Final Fours, mostly under Nancy Stevens, who just retired, is here with the team, a volunteer head coach, and is a very influential coach for Paul Caddy now in its first year. And he's been with the program for some time. His 11th year on the staff. Paul Caddy, 67-5 against the Big East in the regular season since he arrived in Stores. He has just done a great job. And Andrew Griffiths taking over for the legend and Beth Anders. So how about both of these coaches taking over for royalty, Allie?
Yeah, they've definitely been able to be under some really influential and great head coaches, but they also still have those head coaches nearby and providing insight and just allowing them to stay around the program because, you know, who doesn't want to be around greatness?
Paul Caddy says it's a true friendship, and we were talking about them on our call yesterday. What's it like having your old mentor and the old boss around? He says it's more of a fluid relationship, and they bounce ideas off each other all the time.
Yeah, and they're just always picking each other's brains and providing each other a challenge, and they're always on the same wavelength, it seems, and they're able to create advantageous situations for the Uconn program and put them in the position they are today.
Uconn is 19-8 in Big East title games. They've won 8 straight Big East tournament titles. This is their 19th straight year with 10 or more wins. They just won their 20th Big East regular season title. That's 8 straight of those. They had their 42-game Big East regular season winning streak snapped in the loss to Liberty here in the Philly area against Temple. Their previous loss, Allie, in the Big East regular season was to Old Dominion back in 2013. Just incredible. So can Old Dominion pull off the quote-unquote upset today? That's what we're wondering. As Sophie Hamilton with speed into the circle. Look at her go on the centering feed there as she was aiming for Jessica Dombrowski, number 2. As Uconn not done yet, as Erica Solomon there for the Huskies. Lots of defense for Old Dominion against Liberty to stop their high-powered attack. And Andrew Griffiths told us, Allie, in our call yesterday, they really did pack it in per se, right?
They did, and they were staying consistent in their pressure and composed on the ball. And right now I think a little bit of championship jitters, so turning over the ball. But here's a look at Sophie Hamilton, eyes up, knowing where the pressure's coming from, knowing that the goalkeeper's coming out and just dumping it into the backspace, or the dogleg position, as some people will call it. But really making sure that I think ODU can take a page out of their own book from the other day and just get back to their calm, composed selves, because that's where they really shined.
Here's a chance for Old Dominion into the circle as the Monarchs attacking as they look to put it out in front, and it just goes out of play. So it's interesting you mentioned that, Allie, about keeping your eyes up. Watching the UNC Wake Forest game yesterday in that automatic qualifier game, they talked about Erin Matson keeping her eyes up, which makes her so special. And you see Sophie Hamilton, number 2 in the country in points behind Erin Matson, the 2 best players in the country. There's Sophie Hamilton again. The good ones do keep their eyes up more than others, it seems, right?
Well, it allows for you to know what you're going to do with the ball before you get it, too. So it allows you to know what to do as the play develops. Like, you have 1 or 2 or 3 sometimes options. So being able to take in as much information with your eyes as early as possible is what allows you to be at the level that those 2 players are at, for sure.
Old Dominion leads the all-time series 24-19, but that was mostly back in the 80s and into the 90s. Uconn has won 9 straight, and it's a 9-1 mark for the Huskies over the Monarchs in the Big East era. The 3rd ever Big East tournament meeting, as Ashley was talking about, the 2013 and 2019 title games won by Uconn. The Monarchs did win 9 in a row from 1986 to 1994. And these teams have met 6 times in the NCAA tournament, with 4 wins for Old Dominion and 2 for Uconn, including a couple of national titles for the Monarchs, one in 1982, one in 1983. They beat Uconn in the final, in the championship, to win it all in both of those seasons. So here we are, many, many moons later, with new coaches and taking over, but still the same quality for Old Dominion and Uconn. Some things just don't change, Allie.
They really don't. They really don't.
Powers year after year. I think in another 10 years, you're still going to see these same colors and same teams competing at the highest of levels.
Which is what's exciting, though. I mean, the ability to build a program and build it with greatness is just what every student athlete looks forward to, but also the coaching staff. I mean, you want to be competitive, and that's what is happening here in the Big East in front of us today, but also all over the United States.
That's whistled out. We talked with Andrew Griffiths yesterday again, and I have to ask every coach what it's like for the players when you see a dominant team suddenly in a championship setting and how much it gets in your head. And most coaches have told me they tell their players, ignore the name on the jersey, but that's easier said than done, isn't it?
It is, but I mean, once you're in it, it's just the first couple of minutes you have the jitters, right? And I think that's what we saw with ODU here in the beginning. Just a little bit of missed touches, a little bit of miscommunication, but now it seems like they're starting to get their feet under them. But once you're in it, you're like, wait a minute, this is just like every other day. We're used to this. We've been in this kind of situation before. Sure, this team may have the name, quote unquote, that you said, but when you're staying with them, that confidence starts to build, and I think that's where we're going to see some change here as ODU starts to settle down.
Great feed by Lindsey Dickinson, the left back, number 17, with prolific movement up the flank that time to try and create another chance for Uconn as we get another foul here. I think the most helpful idea for Old Dominion, Allie, is what Andrew Griffiths told us, is that because they did graduate 9 seniors and they have plenty of experienced players, but because it's a newer team for him and they didn't play Uconn this year in the regular season, I think they're a little bit more wide-eyed in a good way, that they're not afraid of Uconn because they haven't lost to them 3 times in a regular season, let's say.
Right, and they're just ready to play and ready to take on a challenge. Like, yeah, you can talk the talk, but you also got to be able to walk the walk, and I think they're going to be able to just like hit the ground running here once they get a couple chances. They had an exciting chance a few minutes ago, and I think those are just going to keep coming as they get a little more confident.
I was reading an article last year when Old Dominion playing very well down the stretch. They had a fantastic season in 2019, 11 wins, got to the Big East title game, had a good win against Liberty, were playing good teams late in the season, did not make the NCAA tournament. Many thought it was a surprise, but often those automatic bids go to the bigger schools. So is it enough for Liberty, who had a fantastic season, or does losing early in your conference tournament hurt your chances? Penn State went out earlier in the Big Ten tournament. That hurts their chances, according to many.
Yeah, and I think it creates, like, you know, a toughness. Like, it makes it tougher on you to get into the tournament. Ultimately, you want to be able to control your fate as much as you can and not let numbers control your fate. So I think it's going to give them a little bit of a tougher chance, but you really just never know.
Here is the counterattack. Sophie Hamilton sending it forward, and the runs being made there. We see McKenna Sergi appearing. She's been out for the last couple of weeks. We haven't seen a whole lot of her. It's good to see her out there. And a push up front as well to Tori Albright, number 5, coming off the bench for Uconn. They have a little bit more depth than Old Dominion, so 2 days later in a championship setting, Allie, does the team like Old Dominion, perhaps with a smaller roster, does that impact them negatively in any sort of way, maybe down the stretch?
I mean, maybe just a little bit of soreness, but these athletes know what they need to do in order to compete on game day, so I think they'll be all right.
The day of recovery yesterday is very crucial, wasn't it?
Definitely, and it allows you to just roll out, get some touches on the ball here and there, nothing too strenuous, just to stay in the championship mentality.
Nice breather and practice for both squads yesterday when we chatted with each coach what it's like in between, and it seemed like both teams are ready to go today. And Old Dominion's healthy. They have all their players available. Our first card of the game will be a green card. It's on Old Dominion, and into the box goes Jolene Ulichny, the freshman out of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and a player advantage for Uconn, Allie.
Yeah, and here I'm just going to guess that ODU is going to sit back a little more, stay together, allow the card clock to run out. But I think in this situation, a dangerous Uconn, especially a numbers up situation, is going to look to exploit that, find the open space, find the open attacker, and try to get numbers up opportunities to cash in a second goal.
Marlon De Bruyne, fantastic season, number 7. Having a wonderful year, the freshman out of the Netherlands with 15 goals. A lot of defending, obviously, because you're down by a player, as we see another look at the card coming up here. What do you see, Allie?
Yeah, so she's aggressive, getting her stick in the defender's vision there, the defender being Kennedy, coming up on her sideline. But she just sticks in and creates a pretty hard stick hack. So stick hack, stick obstruction, not allowed. So a green card it is.
Just over a minute left in the first quarter as collegiate and international field hockey, they try to keep the rules in line when they can, whether it be from college to the international game. Mostly every setting you'll see around the world switching to quarters over the last year or so. No more timeouts, which is one of the bigger changes they implemented last year, and the clock no longer, it does stop now on corner. It's just a different issue, different way of looking at it, right, Allie?
Yeah, so it went into the quarter system. It was 35-minute halves. Now it's 15-minute quarters, 2-minute break in between with a 10-minute halftime. And now it allows for teams to not just run the clock out sometimes on corners, like that used to be a big tactic when I played, which wasn't super long ago, but long enough ago. And the clock stops. You have 40 seconds to get adjusted as a penalty corner defense unit, and also to get your game plan and the play in for the attack penalty corner unit as well.
Yeah, very interesting when the clock now stops on penalty corners when it used to run, like Allie was saying. Final seconds of the quarter as Courtney Kennedy was trying to look for a feed inside, and there is the horn. 1-0 lead for Uconn on a goal. The Huskies attacking early. Erica Solomon putting them in front. We'll be right back here from the Proving Grounds.
If your money is working toward the same goals, why keep it in different places? SoFi is a one-stop shop for your finances, designed to work better together. Spend with SoFi and get cashback rewards that automatically go toward your goals, like investing in stocks, ETFs, and crypto. That's better together. Or pay down your SoFi debt sooner. That's better together. And that's how SoFi is helping millions get their money right.
Ignite us, enlighten us, show us the brilliance of what's possible when courageous ambition joins valued experience. When soaring talent collides with the will to succeed. It's here, where diversity of thought makes outcomes shine brighter, and resilience sparks success in the careers of tomorrow. At Old Dominion University, monarchs innovate and push each other further. Reign on. See how monarchs reign.
Though we are many, we are part of something. A force bigger than all of us. Our distinct fingerprints collectively shaping and forever changing what makes Uconn, Uconn. Forever making our mark. Forever making Uconn a part of it.
The start of the second quarter from the Villanova Field Hockey Field. A 1-0 lead for Uconn over Old Dominion in the Big East Championship game. The Big East Field Hockey Championship 2021 presented by Jeep. Allie Campbell, Nick Montagna, Allie Liotis, our great crew. Opening goal, Allie, by Erica Solomon, the sophomore, with a wonderful strike.
Yeah, and she does a really good job of getting in and behind the blind spot of the defender to receive the ball on her backhand. But then also she fluffs the ball, right, on her first shot. And that's just number one rule. You play to the whistle. And sometimes that's called and sometimes you're not. She played to the whistle, stayed composed, pulled the goalkeeper off of her line, and just did a nice classic pull right and finish. And she did really well there to get her team on the board early.
Some kids, they don't keep their composure when there's a defender around you and they'll shoot the ball wide. Obviously, the adrenaline's pumping. You have to give her a lot of credit there. She really stayed very composed throughout that whole sequence.
Sure, and it gets exciting, too, when you're in the circle because you have an opportunity to put your team on the board and to get ahead. And she did really well to just focus on the task at hand, which was get the ball, draw the goalkeeper, and score, and that's just what she did.
The task at hand has meant a 37-0 goal differential for Uconn, make it now over their last 6+ games, including today. The teams have been competing with them, and some of the games have been tight at times, but ultimately Uconn has found a way to really put everybody away, and even with a couple of weeks off, they just don't seem to miss a beat.
Yeah, and their ability to score early and then hold on to a lead is pretty remarkable as well. They have they're solid all through their lines, and they're able to keep that lead. Sorry, I got distracted there on that high hit. So being able to get on the board early is critical, especially in a championship game as well.
Old Dominion into their third Big East final, 15 conference tournament titles all time. All 15 were in the Colonial Athletic Association back in the day for so many years. as the Monarchs are 15-6 all-time in conference title games. The most national titles ever, Allie. I think teams you might know, Old Dominion, the most ever with 9. Second most ever would be?
My Maryland Terps.
With 8, you got it. Guess who's tied with 8? The current champs, North Carolina, with 8 titles. They won 2 straight. They run the table in each of the last 2 seasons. And of course, number 4 on that list is Uconn with 5 national titles, 3 of which came last decade, 2013, 2014, and 2017. And they were the best team in 2015. Those scores in 2015 with Charlotte Feitner, they were lopsided. They were blowing teams out of the water. It wasn't even close. They were the number 1 team all year, but the best team doesn't always win it, does it, Allie?
No, they don't. And sometimes, again, that's what I say. That's what we love about sport, but also you hate it. You know, you think you have a shoe-in because you're scoring many goals, but you know what? You're always going to get your best or get the other team's best when you're the best, and it just comes down to the given day.
Made a nice run that year in 2015. Did Uconn, went 22-0 into the Final Four, lost to Syracuse in Ann Arbor, which will host the Field Hockey Championships, the Final Four next year in the fall, as it's Uconn. Sophie Hamilton putting on a lot of pressure again for the Huskies, wearing the blue jerseys, Old Dominion wearing white.
And I think what UConn's doing really well to expose in the Old Dominion lines is that they have their players overlapping with the ball carrier, which is putting defenders under pressure because they're not tracking back. Normally as a defender, you want to track back with your mark. And right now, ODU isn't doing the best job of that, so they're able to get numbers up situations like I talked about before. So it'll be interesting to see how they can make that adjustment on the defensive end for ODU.
Well, when we talked with both coaches, the matchup is different, as Liberty really likes to spring their forwards very fast downfield, Allie, very aggressive, very direct and speedy, whereas Uconn, according to Paul Caddy, more indirect. So it's a different matchup for Old Dominion, right?
Yeah, but I think the indirect word that he uses, it's also purposeful. So they build the ball in an area and they shift it really quickly out of it to catch defenders being sucked to the ball. So he says it's indirect, but I think there's a lot of purpose and directness behind it as well.
There we go. We'll call it a hybrid. That's that. All right. Fantastic season for both teams. There was a chance for Old Dominion, as we said, to make the NCAA tournament last year. Had a fantastic season. A season ago, Old Dominion was the only team in 2019 to hold North Carolina to 1 goal or less, a 1-0 loss at North Carolina. I thought that might have been enough on the resume, but it's very tough. There are only so many spots and even fewer this season.
Yeah, and it is just 1 game too, right, that you're speaking of. So it's a collective effort and a collective season RPI. So being able to close in games that you should win and being able to execute upsets, it's all counted and factored.
It was turned over in the midfield by I.E. Young, the midfielder, and then a high hit there, catching one of the Uconn players up top. There's a great crowd on hand here this afternoon in the Philadelphia area.
So just a little bit of a collision there. She steps in and she's got her stick kind of in a jab position or a pancake grip, so it kind of just rolls right up the stick into her chin. But like I said, hockey players were some of the toughest out there, and I might be biased, but I think I'm also telling the truth. I mean, we have number 8 from ODU who had a reverse hit straight to the mouth.
Oh, look at the counterattack here for Uconn up ahead with Claire Vandenort, and a wonderful stop by Cam McGilvray to play the angle.
So good. And like I said, she's agile. She's able to use any part of her body to save the ball, and when in doubt, dive it out. I don't know. I just made that up, and her timing's right on point to just sweep that ball away.
Well, that was the true definition of a counterattack and the speed on display. There's a direct run for you, Allie, right?
Yep.
Right up the gut that time. We'll take another peek at it.
I think we've seen that a few times here where the Uconn player is getting in front of the ODU defender and then quick making an S lead in and behind, and that's where they're threading the ball through the direct line. And that we've seen that 3 times. One to Erica Solomon, which it was a missed trap on the ODU defender, but still it's the same movement. There was one again up to Jess Dombrowski, and then that third one there to Claire Vandernoort. So I think that's definitely a game plan to draw the defender towards the ball, S lead in and behind.
This is a good response by Old Dominion because in recent matchups against Uconn, the Huskies have scored goals in clusters. Last year, Svea Boker scored 2 goals 45 seconds apart. In the regular season, between both sides, frankly, there were 5 goals in a 6-minute span to open up the second half. That was a Uconn 6-2 win over Old Dominion in the regular season in 2019. And our second card of the game, this one is on Uconn, Allie?
No, it's going to be on ODU for, I think, a hard stick challenge and a little bit of a body there on Marlon de Bruges.
All right, so De Bruyne coming out into the box, second green card of the day as Old Dominion down a player for 2 minutes. So there was a yellow card last year in the Big East title game in that second half. It was 0-0. That's what led to that breakout for Uconn, the 2 goals by Svea Boker after the yellow card on Alex Brewer in the 35th minute. Svea Boker scored in the 37th and 38th minutes. Those cards mean a whole lot, Allie.
They do, because it gives you a man advantage and your ability to put teams under pressure because they're trying to hold and stay together, and your ability to make them not do that, do exactly what they don't want to do, is crucial.
8 goals in that regular season meeting last year. Aaron Huffman scored, Riley Taylor scored. Of course, Riley Taylor's out for today. For Old Dominion, Nicole Fredericks, the left back. Of course, she took that high heat to the facial area on Thursday in the semifinal win over Liberty, but she got patched up, went to the hospital. She's from this area. She was with her family, and she was at practice yesterday, and she's out there and ready to go today. Uconn with a big blast all the way through the circle.
And that's a hard ball to trap. A good delivery there by the right back on Uconn. Just giving a little bit of a skip ball, trying to get over the defender's stick. Because, like I said, being able to trap a ball out of the air is easy, or harder, excuse me. It is not easier than a flat ball. So a nice delivery.
A great job for the training staff to work with these kids and making sure they get the medical attention they need so they can play in this championship setting. And it's great to see Nicole Fredericks back in the mix for Old Dominion. As Uconn with Sophie Hamilton from that dangerous attacking center mid position, but well defended by Old Dominion, and Elise Demar, number 11, the sophomore out of France. And over on the right-hand side for Ilse Westera, the right wing out of the Netherlands. And the self-start for Old Dominion again. Elise Demar is having a fantastic year for Andrew Griffith's bunch, and defended by Courtney Kennedy, number 12, out of Massachusetts in the Boston area. It sails through and kicked away by Cheyenne Sprecher.
Really good patient attack by ODU there.
Another look at it there.
Gathering the ball, throwing it across the face of the goal, but nobody home. I bet they're going to have that position filled next time, Nick.
No, it's just not easy, right? You're trying your best. The adrenaline's really pumping. Timing those runs, it's crucial. And we've seen Old Dominion like to keep kids back. They might not always have a lot of runners going forward.
Yeah, perhaps, but they also have the position. They should have the positions filled. I mean, they're a well-coached, well-structured team, and they know where they need to be in order to score goals, and there are goal-scoring spots that do need to be covered. So they need to continue to keep doing the work off the ball as well.
Here's a chance into the circle, a run by Tori Albright. It goes out of bounds. Based on what Andrew Griffiths has told us, having to pack it in, quote unquote, against these high-powered teams, our guess is that Old Dominion would be better playing with a lead. I mean, who wouldn't? But certainly with the style that Old Dominion's playing, it can't be easy to come from behind when they're playing a defensive sort of style.
It can't be, but I think we'll see here, especially against Liberty, they really played a little more front foot than I was expecting. So I think that they'll start to transition into that. As the game starts to dwindle down a little more. They're trying to keep their composure here, but I think that soon there's going to be a tactic change, and we're going to see a little bit more of an attacking group.
They'll have to change something up. At some point, you have to, quote-unquote, roll the dice. And I keep using the quotation marks because it is a change maybe away from the game plan. As a self-start after the whistle, it's thrown up into the circle area, and we get a card again. That's the third of the first half. This one on Uconn?
I think so, but oh, okay. Yep. I didn't see her running off the field yet.
And that is Sophie Hamilton
Yep.
into the box. So their best player in the box, player advantage for Old Dominion. This is huge for the Monarchs. Can they start to tackle the ball away a little bit better? Uconn has the best stick skills every year, many would think, and the great speed and technical ability. It's not easy, but we saw Old Dominion play outstanding defense. They held that great front line of Liberty in check. The Flames came into the weekend leading the country in goals scored, and Old Dominion were shutting them out basically the entire game. As the Monarchs possess.
Good ball.
Delphine Lejeune, number 6, pushes it into the circle, but nobody home.
Yeah, and that's a good sweep distribution from Delphine. She's seeing the player in and behind around the stroke spot that's now occupied. I think they learned after that last one, and just a little bit far out of the reach. But like I said, they're going to start going a little more direct here because time's starting to dwindle down, and they're also a man up right now, so they might as well take advantage of it.
The longest ever winning streaks in Division I field hockey. We've talked a lot about North Carolina this weekend, the 46-game winning streak that they had, broken earlier in the fall by Louisville. That's the second best of all time. The longest winning streak ever in D1 field hockey was by Old Dominion. 66-0 run it was, Allie, from 90 to 93. They went perfect in the 91 and 92 seasons.
Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty good stuff,
Pretty
right?
good.
And UConn knows a thing or two about that. 2017, they ran the table, went unbeaten, and won the national championship. Charlotte Veitner scored the game-winning goal in the national title game. She set the all-time UConn goals and points record. And the top scorers in D1 history, Old Dominion, Marina DiGiacomo, 414 points. Number 2, Micah Hillebrand, Old Dominion, 372 points. Number 4 on that list, Charlotte Veitner. I only skipped number 3, Allie, because I think you might guess who number 3 on the all-time D1 scoring list is. You should know. I think you played with her.
Katie O'Donnell.
You got it.
Yeah.
No, she changed her name. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
She did get married.
She
so.
did get married. All
but
right.
when she was in college, it was Katie O'Donnell.
We're still calling her Katie O'Donnell. 306 points. What was it like getting to know her and playing with her, being around her?
I mean, it was just awesome. Just plain and simple. She's a leader. She's so influential on the field. She does the work on and off the ball. She attacks. She defends. And I was fortunate enough to have the ability to play with her on the national team, too. And just having that familiarity, I can't speak right now, but that having that and being able to know that I have a person up top who I can always distribute the ball to is awesome.
Some of the best players in field hockey we're talking about that a lot of us have seen, Allie's played with. We finally get a corner, our first of the game, with 2:18 left in the second quarter, as UConn will get set here. They lead the Big East in corners. They lead the country in corners at 10 per contest. As they'll insert typically with IU Young, as she will be on the ball here. And then what are you looking for up top? Certainly it's a lot of Claire Yannenworth taking those big strikes.
Yeah, I'm looking for the ball to go to that battery of Sophie Hamilton and to Claire. So that's where they went most of the time 2 days ago.
Courtney Kennedy in the mix as well, as she'll get a blast. Kennedy stopped out in front. McGilvray trying to stop it.
And we were wrong. They went with an option, probably because as a defensive penalty corner unit, when you see tendencies, you tend to play differently. And I think that they were probably expecting the ball to go there. So they wanted to throw them off the first corner probably, and we'll have to see if they go back to their bread and butter or not.
Here's the insertion.
A nice accurate injection and a nice sweep for a tip on goal, but
here we go. Corner number 2. This time knocked down in front. It's loose in front, and UConn scores. It looks like IU Young taps it in off the rebound, and the Huskies have 2 goals.
And as the injector, you love to see it, right? You inject the ball, you start the play, and then she's right in the mix of things. She gathers that rebound and just quick hands, pulls the ball down, and just throws it on cage. She's in the right place at the right time, and a really good injection goal.
Second goal of the season for the freshman, IU Young out of Palm, Pennsylvania. As you see, a lot of those insertions, the player can sneak over to the post. She was ready for the rebound, and she got it. With just over 2 minutes left, a lot of those defensive midfielders, they get unheralded a lot of times. They do all the running and don't get a lot of the glory, so that's nice to see.
Well, yeah, they hold down the fort in the back. They distribute the ball up to the goal scorers. They don't always get the glory, but you know what? They're the hard workers, the hard-nosed, and
UConn had a good one in Carly Highstand, who you work with on the national team and is assistant coach for Villanova's field hockey team, and held down the anchor for all those great UConn teams with Charlotte Veitner through the years. In fact, that class is the winningest in UConn history. As McGilvray kicks it away, the ball might have been heading out of bounds on the blast by Erica Solomon.
But sometimes it's hard. It'll hit the post unintentionally, and as a goalkeeper, you got to make sure and clear that ball out to safety.
A long corner, and UConn will possess. Been a pretty good half by both teams, but a lot of possession by UConn. They've been in control of the ball. Old Dominion trying to hold the numbers back that they need to, which has worked this weekend.
But I think I'd like to see them start to join and get connected in numbers ahead of the ball as well, because I think right now UConn's seeing success because they're going in numbers. So they're in numbers up situations or even numbers. But ODU seems to be just going individually. So it would be really awesome to see if they can start funneling through the lines and creating pressure with numbers up situations to get some attacking opportunities.
Final minute of the first half here from the Proving Grounds, as UConn scoring their 13th goal off of a corner this season in the final 20 seconds, as Old Dominion will try to regroup at halftime, try and get their offense going. While this scoreline looks familiar, it was the exact score of the final last year between these two sides. Last year's game was 0-0 at halftime. This time, UConn scores both of its goals, potentially more to come, and that is the tally at halftime. UConn 2, Old Dominion 0 here in the Big East Championship game. Here at the Proving Grounds, UConn aiming for another Big East tournament title. We'll find out more when we come back here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
There's you a coach as well.
If your money is working toward the same goals, why keep it in different places? SoFi is a one-stop shop for your finances, designed to work better together. Spend with SoFi and get cashback rewards that automatically go toward your goals, like investing in stocks, ETFs, and crypto. That's better together. Or pay down your SoFi debt sooner. That's better together. And that's how SoFi is helping millions get their money right.
They're going to do the water.
Ignite us, enlighten us, show us the brilliance of what's possible when courageous ambition joins valued experience, when soaring talent collides with the will to succeed. It's here where diversity of thought makes outcomes shine brighter and resilience sparks success in the careers of tomorrow. At Old Dominion University, Monarchs innovate and push each other further. Rain on. See how Monarchs reign.
Though we are many, we are part of something. A force bigger than all of us. Our distinct fingerprints collectively shaping and forever changing what makes UConn, UConn. Forever making our mark. Forever making UConn a part of us.
Goals by Erica Solomon and Naya Young mean a 2-0 lead for UConn over Old Dominion. It's halftime in the Big East Championship match, and the All Big East Awards were announced several days ago as we get a look at the first team, Allie, and lots of stars on that list.
Yeah, and I love that it's across a bunch of different universities and colleges, and it just is a testament to the Big East and how it's such a talented group. And it's just what you want to see in the growing game.
Sophie Hamilton, the Big East Offensive Player of the Year, and the freshman goalie from Liberty, Azul Irit Idioshin, the Big East Defensive Player of the Year. And there is the coaching staff of the year for Liberty, and what a job for Nikki Parsley-Blocker this year.
Yeah, and she's just been so influential since she's taken the job. She's really taken the program in a positive direction, and it's a young program in comparison to other universities across the United States. So she's done a really good job from the start, and it'll be exciting to see how they continue to grow over the next few years.
Liberty having a fantastic season, trying to get into the NCAA tournament. Only 3 at-large spots available. Automatic bid on the line here at halftime. Uconn leading Old Dominion 2-0 on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
If your money is working toward the same goals, why keep it in different places? SoFi is a one-stop shop for your finances, designed to work better together. Spend with SoFi and get cashback rewards that automatically go toward your goals, like investing in stocks, ETFs, and crypto. That's better together. Or pay down your SoFi debt sooner. That's better together. And that's how SoFi is helping millions get their money right.
Ignite us, enlighten us, show us the brilliance of what's possible when courageous ambition joins valued experience, when soaring talent collides with the will to succeed. It's here, where diversity of thought makes outcomes shine brighter, and resilience sparks success in the careers of tomorrow. At Old Dominion University, monarchs innovate and push each other further. Reign on. See how monarchs reign.
Though we are many, we are part of something. A force bigger than all of us. Our distinct fingerprints collectively shaping and forever changing what makes Uconn, Uconn. Forever making our mark. Forever making Uconn a part of us.
If your money is working toward the same goals, why keep it in different places? SoFi is a one-stop shop for your finances, designed to work better together. Spend with SoFi and get cashback rewards that automatically go toward your goals, like investing in stocks, ETFs, and crypto. That's better together. Or pay down your SoFi debt sooner. That's better together. And that's how SoFi is helping millions get their money right.
Ignite us, enlighten us, show us the brilliance of what's possible when courageous ambition joins valued experience, when soaring talent collides with the will to succeed. It's here, where diversity of thought makes outcomes shine brighter, and resilience sparks success in the careers of tomorrow. At Old Dominion University, monarchs innovate and push each other further. Reign on. See how monarchs reign.
Though we are many, we are part of something. A force bigger than all of us. Our distinct fingerprints collectively shaping and forever changing what makes Uconn, Uconn. Forever making our mark. Forever making Uconn a part of us.
Uconn with 6 straight wins, leading Old Dominion 2-0 at halftime. The Monarchs have won 4 straight, but the lead at the advantage at the half by Uconn. Our first half highlights. A lot of Uconn, especially early on. They got off to a good start, Allie, and certainly it was Erica Solomon with the first goal.
Yep, and again, she just plays to the whistle, does a nice quick little right pull just around the diving goalie, and cashes in the first goal.
It was a lot of possession by Uconn. They had the outbreak there after Old Dominion had sent some players forward. A good save by Cam McGilvray. and lots of opportunities for Uconn. They did get a corner right at the end. We didn't see a whole lot of corners, frankly.
We didn't, and I think that's going to maybe be a focus point for both teams, because penalty corners are a huge advantage for teams because your number's up. So I think that both teams are going to look to push the margin with that.
There's Yi Ying's goal as it's 2-0, halftime stats. Not a lot of corners. Old Dominion will be looking to try and square that around. No shots yet officially for the Monarchs, as Uconn has 5 shots directly on the target and 3 saves by Cam McGilvray. Halftime and the second half coming up next here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi. Uconn aiming for another Big East tournament title.
If your money is working toward the same goals, why keep it in different places? SoFi is a one-stop shop for your finances, designed to work better together. Spend with SoFi and get cashback rewards that automatically go toward your goals, like investing in stocks, ETFs, and crypto. That's better together. Or pay down your SoFi debt sooner. That's better together. And that's how SoFi is helping millions get their money right.
Though we are many, we are part of something. A force bigger than all of us. Our distinct fingerprints collectively shaping and forever changing what makes Uconn, Uconn. Forever making our mark. Forever making Uconn a part of us.
Ignite us, enlighten us, show us the brilliance of what's possible when courageous ambition joins valued experience. When soaring talent collides with the will to succeed. It's here, where diversity of thought makes outcomes shine brighter and resilience sparks success in the careers of tomorrow. At Old Dominion University, Monarchs innovate and push each other further. Rain on. See how Monarchs...
If your money is working toward the same goals, why keep it in different places? SoFi is a one-stop shop for your finances, designed to work better together. Spend with SoFi and get cashback rewards that automatically go toward your goals, like investing in stocks, ETFs, and crypto. That's better together. Or pay down your SoFi debt sooner. That's better together. And that's how SoFi is helping millions get their money right.
Coming back here into the third quarter, coming out of the half, Coach Griffiths over there with Old Dominion said, simply, we just have to play more aggressive in this game. I heard some of the players saying, listen, guys, we still have plenty of time, a full half. On the other side, Uconn and Coach Caddy, he said, we will win this game if we get no more cards. Guys.
A big part of it, it's certainly, we'll see what Old Dominion has here in half number 2. The start of the third quarter, the 2021 Big East Field Hockey Championship presented by Jeep, right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi. Ashley Leotis on the sideline doing great work as always with Allie Campbell, Nick Montagna, and our outstanding technical crew here in the Philadelphia area, just outside of Villanova's lovely campus, the fantastic facility that is the Villanova Field Hockey Field that opened up in 2016. Water cannons went off at halftime. Allie, did you get your cover in time?
I sure did.
We got the cover in front of us so we could stay nice and clean. And hats off to all the great people here doing hard work from the Proving Grounds. Uconn in the navy blue and the Red Sox, and Old Dominion defending wearing white and blue. And goals by Erica Solomon and Yi Young. Does Old Dominion need to roll the dice, but not so easy it is against anybody when you're playing Uconn, Allie?
Yeah, but I agree with Coach Griffiths, and I think that they need to definitely adapt to a front foot mentality, and they need to push numbers up the field. Of course, with some risk, you have to be a little bit conservative, but you have to make sure that you're creating outcomes every time you take those risks.
Old Dominion last beat Uconn. It was that 2013 meeting. After that, the Huskies went on a 42 Big East game regular season winning streak that was ended by Liberty earlier this year here in the Philly area at Temple Field on a neutral site, as these teams did not play in the regular season. They met in the 2013 Big East title game, and then again last year when in the third quarter, just like we were a season back, 0-0 last year at halftime when these teams were meeting in the Big East final up at Quinnipiac. But Svea Boker struck for 2 goals after the yellow card, as Old Dominion will punch it away here. And possession coming back to the Monarchs with Elise DeMar, number 11. She plays that center midfield role for Andrew Griffiths in his 8th year. Did a fantastic job at Lafayette, 6 years there, and won a couple of Patriot League tournament championships. And Paul Caddy arriving at Uconn in 2010 as the top assistant to Nancy Stevens. Now his first year as the head coach in his 11th season. And a foul called as Uconn will have possession. Sophie Hamilton had 2 goals and an assist in the win over Temple. Lots of speed for Vivian Tucker, the winger. It's in here for the Huskies. McGilvray trying to knock it away and swept out of there.
Really good gritty defense by ODU there. Being able to stay strong on the ball with the crashing in attackers. They do a really good job of getting the ball out to the outside. The goalkeeper's down, so they know that and know that they have to stay solid, and they do just that.
Evelyn Murray with that nice tackle, the Virginia Beach native. Grew up, a lot of those Virginia Beach kids go to Old Dominion, it seems, every single year. Right in the backyard there in the Norfolk. I don't know if I ever say it correctly. I just can't ever seem to nail it down. I'm sure the Virginia fans always are going to say a lot to me on that one. I try my best with it. Evelyn Murray spent 1 year at Penn State. I know that place very well. She transferred, and we were talking with Andrew Griffiths about that. That's my alma mater. That place is huge, Allie. It's not for everybody. Some kids like to be closer to home, frankly.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes you think it's a fit, and it's not, and that's okay. She's still able to find a school that's a high-caliber team and be able to continue to play, so all good.
Evelyn Murray, a fantastic addition for Old Dominion this season. And a lot of those kids grew up around there and just great players year to year, whether it was Beth Anders or now Andrew Griffiths. And they've had All-American quality players. And certainly they have a star already in Marlon De Bruyne, who's just been fantastic with 15 goals, as she had 2 goals on Thursday. Sophie Hamilton had 2 goals, as the top players for each of these squads came up huge in both semifinal victories. Steady defender Lindsay Dickinson aiming forward there up ahead, trying to find Danielle Parado, the sophomore out of Chile, on their national team. Well, that was Claire Vandenort making the run, number 7. With Dombrowski up top and Erica Solomon. Now here on the wing, quick double team by Uconn as Old Dominion tries to work it through with Delphine Lejeune, the sophomore out of Belgium.
And she does a really good job of staying steady on the ball there. She gets in a position that she's 1 attacker versus 2 defenders and stays steady, does a little bit of 3D skills because you can lift the ball up as long as it's below the knee, and eliminates both defenders there well.
Delphine Lejeune trading the ball there on the left-hand side with Nicole Fredericks. Great to see her out there after taking the ball to the face in the second half against Liberty on Thursday. Better here from Old Dominion into the circle with a great drive by Ilse Wistera, number 24, playing in her 47th career game. And now again, the young superstar in Marlon De Bruyne, 15 goals and 2 assists on the season.
And still ODU looking to attack here, but just being a little bit more reactive than proactive, kind of allowing their teammate to go one-on-one in attacking situations. I'd like to see them still come together, get connected, and find numbers up or even number situations so that they can hold onto the ball longer.
Jessica Dombrowski was looking up ahead for a few runners. Claire Vandenort was in the area, as was Erica Solomon. And now possession by the Huskies, as Old Dominion will have to back up a little bit and steady their defense here in the 3rd quarter at the Proving Grounds. And swept out of there by Old Dominion and Delphine Lejeune. looking for Marlon De Bruyne, the top rookie scorer in the nation, ranks 5th in the country in goals with 15 of them. The co-Big East Freshman of the Year, all Big East first teamer. It stays alive in the circle. Westera, and knocked out of there. A clean kick of the ball by Cheyenne Sprecher.
But ODU finding some attacking opportunities here by utilizing going outside and around and down on the baseline. So it'll be interesting to see if Uconn can adjust to that, force them up into their strong sticks.
Here comes Sophie Hamilton on the counter, and just out of the reach for Claire Vandenoort. Those two hooked up for a really sweet goal the other day, didn't they?
Yeah, and I think those two are really comfortable with distributing the ball and finding each other, and I think that's the third time that ball's gone right away from Claire's stick, so I think that there'll be a few adjustments made by her like that, and she'll be able to start attacking more when making those long leads to the baseline.
Sophie Hamilton stole it the first time. She takes it back again and shoots it up just wide.
A nice backhand attempt there by Sophie Hamilton, but just pulls it up a little bit over the bar. So she pushes it out in front of her, stays on the move. It's really important for those watching young players to be able to hit on your backhand off your left or right foot so you can stay on the move instead of having to slow down, just like Sophie did in that clip.
Uconn alive again and kicking into the circle area with Morgan Kaufman, the left winger. And quickly won by Elise DeMar, number 11 for Old Dominion. But Uconn still has it. Boy, Sophie Hamilton, I'm sure likes playing at this field. Had 3 goals and 3 assists in a win over Villanova here at this very field. And 1-1 against Villanova the day after. That game was 0-0 at halftime, but Uconn found a way to come back and win again. Then they had a couple weeks off, and Sophie Hamilton kept on scoring here at Villanova. 2 more goals on Thursday in the win over Temple. Great speed, as always, by Uconn down the wing. Great job by Cam McGilvery to dive on the ball, and a whistle.
Good defending there by the goalkeeper. Not sure what the Uconn staff is looking for wanting an upgraded stroke. We'll just have to look at the clip. There may be a stick hack on the goalkeeper, but really good timing by the ODU goalkeeper to come off of her line and create influence in the play and slow down a speedy Sophie Hamilton.
So they call it a corner. And we'll see the insertion. There's another look.
Yeah, I'm not real sure. It looks like she gets the ball, but of course there's all different kinds of camera angles that we get to look at, and we're fortunate to look at. So from that one, it looked pretty clean to me.
Claire Vandenoort will look to do the inserting. And watch out for the big stick by Claire Yannenworth, number 18. She might have the biggest stick of anybody in the Big East. There she is, Yannenworth aiming for the post, trying to find Erica Solomon, and a whistle.
Really good post play by the ODU defender. She steps out, does her job. So as a post player, you're either in front of the goalkeeper or behind the last line of defense. And if the ball goes to that R2 runner, which is the role filled by Erica Solomon, you step out and get pressure, and she did just that and earned a free hit for her team.
Old Dominion's been really solid the last couple of years, and they've really found their groove the last 2 seasons, just playing even better field hockey. They had put together a 9-match winning streak against the Big East in the regular season from last year into this season before their loss to Liberty on March the 6th. And they played Liberty a lot this year, but the biggest was, of course, the semifinal win, and they earned that victory. They were the better side, and they played outstanding on Thursday, Allie.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you can play a team as many times as you do in a season, but ultimately when it counts, and that's what ODU did.
Jessica Dabrowski up ahead, and the shot might have been deflected, knocked in, whistle was blown.
Nice defending there. Just touches the ball away from Claire Vandenoort. She takes it on a good first touch, Claire does, but I believe it was Marley. She comes in, gets her body between her and the goal, and forces Claire to miss the ball.
So just missing the target, but a nice break by Uconn. Marley McClendon doing her best there to defend number 5. Outstanding center back, redshirt senior, playing in her 66th career game. Marley McClendon Fantastic kid. Didn't play a couple of years ago because of an injury. All Big East second teamer. As Old Dominion rolls it into the corner, trying to look for Ilz Westera, but unsuccessful. They need to take advantage of those opportunities, Allie.
Yeah, and here it looks like they're starting to push up a little bit on the press too. So in the beginning of the game, they were definitely at a 3-quarter press. Now they're looking, especially when it's in the corners, to high press, keep the ball there, and come up with an intercept and counterattack.
Counterattack, indeed. The centering feed. Oh, what a save by Cam McGilvray off the shot down low on Sophie Hamilton. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, such a good save. She stays patient. She keeps the ball in front of her, watches the ball onto her glove hand, does a really, really good job there for the ODU defensive unit.
Keeping the Monarchs alive, and a foul called. Is that a corner? Great job. Cam McGilvray coming up big to keep her team in the game. Outstanding goalie out of Canada.
Yeah, and that's a huge save there because Uconn's got the momentum. They have the exciting attack opportunity there, but she just shuts him down, and it creates still a 2-0 lead instead of a 3-0 lead. She does her job well there, Nick.
They feel like Old Dominion hanging around, but this is a big one here, as Uconn certainly dangerous on these restart opportunities with 3:26 left in the third quarter.
Again,
Interrupted.
good defending. Yeah, good defending by the right trail there for ODU. And I believe that's who was on the post, too. So fulfilling different roles and doing her job really well.
Elise DeMar, good defending there. Sophie Hamilton. Good opportunity again for the Huskies.
Yeah, she takes the ball on an angle really hard and accelerates and then shoots to the opposite side of the post because the goalkeeper had the close side post covered. So something to think about as an attacker as well. It's harder for the goalkeeper to save when you're shooting across the goal because there's more goal to cover.
This is the same scoreline as last year's final. The goals came at different points, so you still feel like this is anybody's game. Old Dominion leading on Thursday. They were against Liberty 2-0. Then the Flames had a late goal, so there's still time. Can Old Dominion make some plays? Can they stay poised to find some magic?
For sure, and 2-0 is a dangerous scoreline as well because if ODU gets on the board with 1 goal, they're only 1 goal down, and they're able to ride that momentum wave. So we'll see how this can continue into the fourth quarter.
Great organization by Rena Souls, number 18, out of Kingston, PA. Named an All Big East player. Do we have a card?
Yeah, we have a green card on number 28, Uconn.
Okay.
I think for bodying in the middle of the field.
Vivian Tucker to the box for 2 minutes. Big opportunity again for Old Dominion. Can they get possession back? Sophie Hamilton everywhere, perhaps. There she is again.
For sure, making her presence known.
Some players just seem like they're always on the ball, Allie.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's probably definitely a tactic, too, for Uconn.
Get the ball to 14.
Or have her take self-starts, too, because she's so quick and poised on the ball, and she's able to draw defenders to her and eliminate with a pass to her attacker who the defenders are leaving.
Marlon De Bruyne lurking there on the forward line for Old Dominion. Slick work by the Huskies on the wing by Anna Horan, the freshman out of Ireland. They're happy to have her back. She had been out for the last couple weeks. And just over a minute left in the third quarter. It'll stay with Uconn. Terrific all-conference players all over the field. One of which was not Claire Yannerworth, number 18, even though she's having a fantastic year. You could say every Uconn player is deserving of being an all-conference player. Ayi Young has one of the goals today. The D-Midi up ahead on the right-hand side for Anna Horan. Good defending again. Elise DeMar, very solid. And we get a whistle. Possession for Uconn. They'll keep it here in the final third with under a minute to go in the third quarter. There's that indirect style, passing the ball back for Uconn, Allie.
Yeah, and they're looking to build the ball here. There's also just under 30 seconds left, so they're wanting to maintain possession and maybe in the last 15 seconds or so take advantage and be able to attack with the last possession.
Especially with the card.
For sure.
And Tucker still in the box as Old Dominion carrying it through and tackled away. Great work by the Huskies. Anna Haran, final 10 seconds left of the third quarter. We'll see if Old Dominion has something in store for the final 15 minutes, or is it Uconn moving on to perhaps their 20th ever Big East tournament title, which would be their 9th straight if this scoreline holds. We will find out when we come back from the Proving Grounds. Uconn 2, Old Dominion nothing in the Big East Championship match on the Big East Digital Network, presented by Sophie.
If your money is working toward the same goals, why keep it in different places? SoFi is a one-stop shop for your finances, designed to work better together. Spend with SoFi and get cashback rewards that automatically go toward your goals, like investing in stocks, ETFs, and crypto. That's better together. Or pay down your SoFi debt sooner. That's better together. And that's how SoFi is helping millions get their money right.
Ignite us, enlighten us, show us the brilliance of what's possible when courageous ambition joins valued experience. When soaring talent collides with the will to succeed. It's here, where diversity of thought makes outcomes shine brighter and resilience sparks success in the careers of tomorrow. At Old Dominion University, Monarchs innovate and push each other further. Rain on. See how Monarchs reign.
Though we are many, we are part of something. A force bigger than all of us. Our distinct fingerprints collectively shaping and forever changing what makes Uconn, Uconn. Forever making our mark. Forever making Uconn a part of us.
Uconn in control, leading 2-0 over Old Dominion as we've hit the fourth quarter in the Big East Field Hockey Championship match, live from the Proving Grounds here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by Sophie. As Uconn goals today from Erica Solomon, both in the first half, and then IE Young right before halftime, alongside Ashley Lyotis on the sideline and Allie Campbell from Team USA. Nick Montaigne, great to have your company, our hardworking crew. Great day. Temperature in the 60s, just a little bit of a breeze. This is perfect weather, Allie.
It sure is. Much better than the other day.
When it was nearly 30 degrees cooler and the winds were gusting, what would you say? I know you're not a meteorologist, but 30 mile per hour gusts?
At least.
Higher? We'll go 40.
I mean, maybe 100. No, you never know.
100's quite high. We'll go with 30 or 40, I would say.
All right.
All right, what are you looking for Old Dominion?
So I think right now they're obviously in like attack mode, right? They have to get on the board. They have to get on the board early, and then they have to get on the board again. So I'm looking for a high press, good leads in and behind, and numbers up situations.
Let's check in with Ashley.
Hey guys, Coach Griffiths with Old Dominion. Last chance to make adjustments here going into the fourth. He said, we need to play our way back into this game. We did a good job of that in the third quarter, but we must stay together. He was talking to us a little bit about about structure on that call with him yesterday. He said we need to play together and we can't get stretched out on the field. That's what they're looking to do here in the fourth quarter, guys.
There's nothing wrong with the way Old Dominion has played today. It's that Uconn has that electric ability to score goals in a tight window, and they've done it a couple times today, frankly, Allie.
Yeah, and they're able to build the ball and go forward too. So pretty threatening all over the parts of the field.
Whether they've been a higher scoring variety like we saw in the regular season last year, Uconn with a win, or the Big East title game last year, lower scoring game where Old Dominion played pretty well in that match. Nothing at halftime, and then 2 third quarter goals after a yellow card by Svea Boker, who won the Most Outstanding Player award after last year's Big East Championship. So Sophie Hamilton, you would think, would be in the mix. Make sure you stay tuned to the game. After we're done here, we'll have our post-game interview with Ashley on the sideline with the winning coach, and then we'll have the ceremony and trophy presentation as the outstanding player for the entire tournament will be named. So make sure you stay with us after the contest. More to follow, and there's still an exciting fourth quarter in front of us here in the Philly area.
And I think it's also super important for UConn to remember to keep riding the wave. It's the fourth quarter. They have a 2-0 advantage. Just keep doing what they're doing. Stay composed. Don't give away any silly card opportunities, and just keep playing their game.
Oh, what a chance there. Old Dominion sliding one through the circle, looking for Ilz-Westera. That might have been their best chance of the game, Allie.
I think so, too, and I think they got him behind the defenders early, so a good hard ball across, and she just slides right under her stick as she's making a diving backhand attempt.
How many of those chances will they have left? That's the key question. They'll need to capitalize. Nice tackle there by Rena Stoles. She's easy to pick out on the field, Allie. She's 4'11".
Feisty.
Feisty,
I love
all
it.
Big East pick as a rookie. Plays that center midfield role. Again, a lot of those players in the defensive posturing or just organizers, sometimes don't get a lot of glory, but it's nice to see her get all Big East recognition. Into the circle, and a whistle. Into the foot, possibly, of Old Dominion, Allie?
Yeah, I think the ball was just played in a little too early for an assuming attacker for ODU, and they just didn't have their stick on the ground early enough. Good
pressure by Jolene Ulichny, number 12, out of Wilkes-Barre, PA, the freshman, and clean defending and clearing by Courtney Kennedy, who's as composed as any defender in the conference.
For sure, and she does a really good job of stepping up and in front and intercepting as well, because she is super fit and able to do the work with her feet. So it's really exciting to see her when she has the opportunity to take the intercept and go on the attack.
Sophie Hamilton was attacking there a moment ago on the right-hand side with Claire Vandenort. Old Dominion possessing out of the back. That's Evelyn Murray, the right back. Having a good season is Old Dominion. 32 goals scored. They've yielded 19. That's entering today, so 2 more goals allowed, while Uconn has scored 53 goals, first in the country in goals per game, third total in the country in goals, behind North Carolina, who beat Wake Forest yesterday in the NCAA automatic qualifier ACC title game, I guess they're calling it. I emailed the North Carolina staff asking why the ACC added that. They had a conference tournament in the fall, Allie. They gave them another crack at it, essentially.
Yeah, and it's just another opportunity to compete as well and keep growing as a team, too. So I think anytime you get to play nowadays is the best kind of day.
And Ohio State and Penn State, or excuse me, Ohio State in Michigan in the Big Ten final today for that automatic bid. Old Dominion here, centering feed just off the mark. Elise DeMar with accuracy. Old Dominion unable to take advantage.
A really good ball across, but now you can see they are definitely filtering people into the goal scoring positions. There are people occupying those spaces, so we'll see if it'll just be a matter of time before one of them falls for them, or if they keep making the adjustments. We'll just have to see.
Michigan or Ohio State, who you got in that one?
I think both teams are really talented, and they both have some really good structural and tactical game plans. So I'm not sure. Anything can happen. I'm really not sure. I think they both have really good sides, good scoring opportunities, good defending, good goalkeeping. So
Michigan's the favorite. Ohio State with the upsets, more or less, to get to the final, winning a couple of close games the last few days. Well, I thought we had it hard. I was messaging with Dean Linke, who does the broadcasting for the Big Ten Network. They were doing 4 games in one day, and we were going back and forth yesterday on Twitter talking about it. And he and Carol Lentz doing a great job with the Big Ten Network's coverage, and with Allie Campbell, Nick Montagna here at the Proving Grounds. Much warmer for us today, Allie. We're not as bundled up as we were on Thursday.
For sure, but it's postseason time and all the exciting hockey games. It's the best time to play hockey.
Up ahead into the circle, McGilvray knocking it away. The rebound, another save by McGilvray.
Oh my
Solomon
goodness.
again, McGilvray standing on her head.
Doing her job, plain and simple. Really super agile on the ground. She's pushing off with her feet in order to stay in the play, and she does a really good job of just turning her body and using her core, especially her abdomen, to turn and twist and, like you said, do cartwheels basically.
Boy, the goalies that Old Dominion's had in recent years, Kelsey Robles, Team USA, and now we're seeing Cam McGilvray. Just one terrific player back there after another.
Yeah, and they are also leaders, and they set up the team in front of them really well, and they do their job clearly well, and they are just so influential. When you have a really good, solid goalkeeper, it really helps.
Cam McGilvray having a fantastic year. U21 Canada national team, ranks 36 in the country in save percentage. All Big East second teamer in 2019 when she had 5 shutouts and 11 saves in the loss at Uconn. That was higher scoring, won 6-2 in the regular year in 2019. And of course the lower scoring bout in the Big East final last year at Quinnipiac, thanks to 2 goals from Svea Boker.
Nice tackling back there by Evelyn Murray. Stays in the play, does the hard work to stay with Sophie Hamilton, and keeps possession for her team.
And up ahead to Jess Dombrowski, all Big East first teamer. Dombrowski having a terrific year with 6 goals and 19 points. And Sophie Hamilton having the best year of almost anybody in the country. Big East Offensive Player of the Year, 12 goals in her last 6 games entering today. All Big East first teamer, obviously leads the country in goals per game. Steady defending that time by Claire Yandenworth, number 18 for Uconn, the sophomore out of Mannheim, Germany, who has 8 goals on the season. I thought be good enough to be all Big East with those numbers and the big stick out of the back on restarts, on corners, but you have to spread the wealth with the all Big East honors, right?
Well, it just goes to show that all the teams have a ton of talent, and it's hard pickings. It's not slim pickings.
Talk about really hard. Yeah, all the stud players that Liberty has on their front line, all over the field. Old Dominion loaded again. And Temple of Villanova with solid standouts as well. Great to see a lot of kids awarded on the all Big East teams that just came out several days back. 5:57 left. Time running out on Old Dominion. 2 of the best programs, if not the 2 best in the history of this sport, colliding once again in the Big East final for the 2nd consecutive season. No corners yet for Old Dominion. Uconn possessing Sophie Hamilton. Chances are she has a good chance to win Most Outstanding Player honors for this tournament. Every year, Uconn has that one terrific player. The last time they had this big run, 2017, didn't lose a game, won the national title. Charlotte Veitner was the stud player that year, Allie, for Uconn.
Yeah, and I think they'll tell you without the teammates around them, they're really just like alone. And I think they'll definitely give testament to their teammates, because without them stopping the ball and behind them and also feeding them too, I mean, yeah, they're studs and they can take the ball and do amazing things with it, but they also, I think, will definitely give testament to their teammates to be able to keep them in the game.
But a different sort of player. Charlotte Veitner was a high striker in soccer, a number 9 essentially, whereas you see more of a center midfielder for Sophie Hamilton, but an attacking center midfielder.
Yeah, and normally when you have somebody in the middle who creates that spine is really going to be one of your more influential players, because they're able to control the attack side and then the counter defense and defensive side as well.
3rd-team All-America last year for Sophie Hamilton. Chances are she'll be on the first team of this season. She and Erin Matson, the 2 best players in the entire country. Hard to argue that factor.
Yeah, they're both pretty awesome.
Erin Matson scored again yesterday. Probably could have had another goal, but they caught off a couple goals on video referrals yesterday, Allie. Wake Forest took it to overtime.
But that goes to show how important the video referral is.
Oh, stolen away by Marlon De Bruyne. And outside the circle, Ilse Wistera. And swept out of there by Yandenworth. Pretty good there from Old Dominion, but only 3:55 left. They need to hurry. They need to get some better possession. And good defending by the Huskies. Let's check in with Ashley.
Yep. Hey guys, as time winds down here, still a few minutes left to play, but we talked to Coach Caddy about Uconn's celebratory win on Thursday in the semis. They were able to celebrate by going to Starbucks, of course. That's where the women wanted to go. I said, what's your drink of choice? No drink of choice there. He is a tea drinker, of course, a native of England. He said he takes his tea with a spot of milk, the brand PG Tips. but it's a little bit cheaper to have someone bring it over. Sophie Hamilton actually was able to bring him a few over last time she was in England, going through a little bit of a dry spell during COVID without many visitors. He said he goes through about 5 cups a day, so we'll see if they are able to crank out this win today. We'll see how he celebrates as well. Guys.
Oh, big chance there. Thank you, Ashley. Marlon De Bruyne, fantastic on the right-hand side. Cheyenne Sprecher playing the angle. Maybe, again, the best opportunity of the game, Allie.
Yeah, that was great hand-eye coordination. Just continually putting the ball in goal, putting Cheyenne Sprecher under pressure. That's what they need to do in order to try and stay in this game with limited time left.
I heat my tea up in the microwave. I have a friend who's English. She said, Nick, if my mother saw you doing that, she would absolutely have some words for me. I said, it's quick. It's on the go. It's easier for me. I call a lot of games. I need something quick on the fly. So Paul Caddy and I are tea drinkers. And Uconn will collect with 2 minutes and change remaining. It's looking like it'll be win or lose, another NCAA tournament for Uconn, which will be their 32nd. They've been to 15 Final Fours, got the 5 in a row between 2013 and 2017, winning 3 national titles last decade, and trying for a fresh start, believe it or not, under Paul Caddy. A new era, a new decade. It's certainly unfortunate times. It's a lot of new everything, frankly, Allie.
Yeah, but I think that there's also going to be some similarities, too. I mean, with him being there for too many years. I joked with him yesterday, but you know, being there for a while, the players are used to him. He's been a big part of the program, so there will be some differences, but I think there's also similarities with the role change.
Just under 90 seconds left, and we might just have the same exact scoreline as we had last year at Quinnipiac when these teams met for it all. Is there time left for Old Dominion? Had some better chances here in the second half. Ilz Westera starting it up. And a drive, Delphine Lejeune looking into the circle. Under a minute left. Old Dominion will have to hurry. Started up here. Elise Demar out of Lille, France. Good double team with Ayi Young and Anna Haran. A little bit of space there for her to move. And Elise Demar out of bounds. But only 35 seconds left. Looking good again for the Huskies. As always, they've dominated in this setting. And tackled. Ayi Young has a goal today. There's the breakout, the breakaway with 18 seconds left. And the icing on the cake perhaps, and just sent wide by Tori Albright.
Again, really good goalkeeping. She stays steady, she tries to delay, and forces the attacker to make the mistake. Really good goalkeeping.
And that should do it. That does do it. Uconn does it again. Their 9th straight Big East tournament title. They win the 2021 Big East Championship over Old Dominion. A final score of 2-0 for the 2nd straight year. They take down the Monarchs in the final. And the Huskies are definitely dancing again into the NCAA tournament. A marvelous first half. Arguably the best program in the country year after year. Their 20th ever Big East tournament title. Goals in the first half, one by Erica Solomon, the second by Ayi Young. And their conference and national leading 10th shutout of the season. Stay tuned for the trophy presentation coming up next from the Proving Grounds.
If your money is working toward the same goals, why keep it in different places? SoFi is a one-stop shop for your finances, designed to work better together. Spend with SoFi and get cashback rewards that automatically go toward your goals, like investing in stocks, ETFs, and crypto. That's better together. Or pay down your SoFi debt sooner. That's better together. And that's how SoFi is helping millions get their money right.
What a win. Ashley Lyotis here, joined by head coach Caddy. First of all, congratulations on the shutout win, 2-0. Coach, you said that you would win this game if your team focused on themselves. How well did you execute that today?
I think it was a really professional performance by our team. Old Dominion fell away. kind of got a lot of people underneath the ball, kind of made it difficult for us. And we possessed the ball really, really well, and got some outcomes when it counted.
Mm-hmm. This was such a wild ride of a season with COVID and a lot of game cancellations. You had one of the most game cancellations throughout the season. But how proud of you, and what does it mean for this team to finally make it to this point, to get that automatic bid into the tournament?
I mean, it's priceless. You know, you really can't put a value on it, because we've been at this. I think it's 536 days since our last Big East championship, when we beat Old Dominion at Quinnipiac, and it's 111 days since we came back at the beginning of January, and 256 days since the beginning of the semester. So it's just been a wonderful experience, and they got what they deserve. So the championship is all the hard work they put in.
Coach, thank you so much. 536 days, but who's counting, right?
Right, cool.
Go ahead,
right.
Celebrate with your team. Thanks so much, guys. Let's send it back to you.
Thanks, Ashley, and great job. Thanks to Paul Caddy and Allie. What we see from UConn each and every season, it's fantastic. This latest run, 38 goals, 0 allowed in what's now a 7-match winning streak. Just impeccable. And boy, Paul Caddy deserves a lot of the credit, and he gets the Gatorade bath.
He almost dodged it. He was so close. Darn it.
Thankfully, it's a warmer day for him, right?
Yeah. But that's awesome, though. Congratulations to the UConn Huskies. They played really well in both games. Super structured, super attacking, super front-footed. And this was the outcome that fell in their favor.
Boy, just to think of what they've done, as nobody scored on them essentially in over 400 minutes. They're really clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, and I think going into the next part of their journey in postseason, they're ready to rumble.
That's 11 wins on the season for UConn. Into the NCAA tournament again. We'll be right back with the trophy presentation here from Villanova.
Though we are many, we are part of something. A force bigger than all of us. Our distinct fingerprints collectively shaping and forever changing what makes UConn, UConn. Forever making our mark. Forever making UConn a part of us.
If your money is working toward the same goals, why keep it in different places? SoFi is a one-stop shop for your finances, designed to work better together. Spend with SoFi and get cashback rewards that automatically go toward your goals, like investing in stocks, ETFs, and crypto. That's better together. Or pay down your SoFi debt sooner. That's better together. And that's how SoFi is helping millions get their money right.
Though we are many, we are part of something. A force bigger than all of us. Our distinct fingerprints collectively shaping and forever changing what makes UConn, UConn. Forever making our mark. Forever making UConn a part of us.
If your money is working toward the same goals, why keep it in different places? SoFi is a one-stop shop for your finances, designed to work better together. Spend with SoFi and get cashback rewards that automatically go toward your goals, like investing in stocks, ETFs, and crypto. That's better together. Or pay down your SoFi debt sooner. That's better together. And that's how SoFi is helping millions get their money right.
A smaller NCAA tournament field, but an automatic bid assures that UConn will once again be dancing into the NCAA tournament. First 2 rounds will be at Penn State and North Carolina. Then North Carolina will host the Final Four as UConn, another Big East tournament title, their 9th in a row, and the most outstanding player is, of course, who else but Sophie Hamilton.
Yeah, and congratulations to her. I mean, she's so influential on the ball, off the ball, in her leadership. She makes an impact everywhere on the field, and really it's a no-brainer.
leads the country in points per game, 4.4. It's just an unbelievable season she's had, Allie.
Yeah, and it just goes to show that she just doesn't stop either, right? She's not complacent. She doesn't just give up on plays. She still keeps her level high every time she's on the ball, every time she takes the field, and it's just really encouraging to see.
Has the second most total goals in all of the country, only behind Erin Matson of North Carolina, and definitely a first-team All-America from the way I see it. And to me, what's so special about this, UConn's won the Big East tournament title over and over, but these girls were celebrating like they'd never won it before. It was a great scene to watch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, winning a championship and having the opportunity to play at the best level is always an exciting time, and it never gets old.
That's one thing for sure, is UConn just outstanding in recent weeks. Even with the stoppage, they just turned it on. It was the click of a button, essentially, Allie. Just kept on winning.
Yeah, and I think that they just, like you said, a click of the button, foot on the gas. They just don't stop ever, and it just goes to show with their success that they've had.
Cam McGilvray played very well with 6 saves. Cheyenne Sprecher with 2 saves. Again, 10 shutouts to lead the country for UConn. Nobody scored on them in weeks, essentially. At 12-3 shots edge. Old Dominion didn't have a corner. UConn had one, and of course scored a goal off a corner. That was back in the first half. Erica Solomon scoring in the 2nd minute. Then IU Young scoring in the 28th minute. One right before halftime. There were some cards. Old Dominion with a fantastic season. They have their superstar going forward in Marlon De Bruyne. What did you think of Old Dominion's effort today?
Yeah, I think that they were sturdy, they were patient. I think looking back, they may have wanted to attack a little more, but they hung in there. They had opportunities, but UConn was just able to take advantage and put the ball in the goal. As
we're getting set for the trophy presentation here at the Villanova Field Hockey Field, as the Monarchs at 9-5, is it enough to get into the NCAA tournament? Only 3 at-large spots. It'll be tough. The selection show is tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, NCAA.com, where you can watch the NCAA select the teams making the big dance. 12 teams to make it this year, Allie.
Yeah, exciting times for all teams involved.
As we get a look at the highlights, right off the gates, it was Erica Solomon, Allie, for UConn.
Yeah, and she stays in the play again. She just continues to keep her stick on the ball, a nice little sharp pull, and just trickles it past the goalkeeper.
Lots of opportunities, as we said, plenty of shots today for the Huskies. They had 12 total. They had 8 shots on the frame, and Cam McGilvray did a great job, and there's IE Young with goal number 2 on the day for UConn, as they scored that right before halftime. And pretty much UConn attacking a whole lot in the second half as well.
But ODU kept strong. They have good, strong tactics on defense, good, strong tackling. Right there is a great example. They assumed their roles well, and they held UConn to just 2, and they did a really, really good job.
So the procession has started for the awards here at the Proving Grounds. Old Dominion, the runner-up for the 2nd straight year. Marley McClendon, the senior, she's been there 5 years, missed the season with a knee injury several years back. It's good to see her finish her career strong.
For sure, and to have 2 back-to-back championship appearances, a really strong way to end her last 2 years. Congratulations to her and a successful career at ODU.
Ranks 4th in the country in assists with 10, an All-Big East 2nd teamer this year. Really outstanding player for Coach Griffiths. UConn being announced as the champ. The seniors being sent to hoist the trophy. They certainly deserve it. They're used to doing this in stores. That trophy case is probably getting pretty crowded, Allie.
Well deserved, though. Well deserved.
More hardware for UConn. And finally, we see the celebration all season long. The storylines, when you look at UConn, it's been Sophie Hamilton 1 week after another, putting up eye-popping numbers. leading the country in points per game, as we talked about, and just on a great run. And she certainly deserves it. 2 goals on Thursday. And they're announcing the all-tournament team. So the all-tournament team being announced: Sophie Hamilton, your most outstanding player for the Big East Championships, presented by Jeep. Here from the Proving Grounds, the final score from today's contest: Uconn beats Old Dominion as they're going to their 32nd NCAA tournament, their 20th ever Big East tournament title, their 9th straight. For Allie Campbell, Ashley Lyotis, and our great crew, I'm Nick Montaigne saying so long from the Philly area. Thanks for watching us on the Big East Digital Networks, presented by SoFi. See you, everyone.